It says I'm live. Am I live? Hello, YouTube. We go on Instagram, so everybody I'm live. Oh, there's 10 people watching. I'm going to wait till a couple people show up.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get in.
All right, I'm going live right now on YouTube. We're going to go through some of my ideas, answer questions. You see what's happening right here? I'm trying to get this out. I don't know how to do super chat. If you want to donate, just go to my website and buy something. So I appreciate that. Oh, hey.
Okay, we're up.
We're up. You see me? Right here in Western Mass. Greetings from Germany. You make awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Jackson. So I decided to do this live stream today to go through my notebook and show some stuff. I didn't have a video ready this week. I'll have one next week, but I decided to show you guys. If you guys remember, we have Aaron here in the moderating, so please keep it civil. We're going to stay on the journal today, nothing else. Current events aside, just going to stay on the journal. Current events are for Instagram right now. If you see this journal I made, it's a leather-bound journal. I made it 6 months ago, and I've been using it pretty much every day to jot down ideas. Well, not every single day. But if you have any questions, Aaron's going to be reading them. He's going to be asking me. This is called the end pages, and this is where the book gets glued to the leather, and you get to hide all of the construction that's inside here. You can kind of see, probably not on the webcam, but there's construction in here which holds through the front and the back of the book. It keeps the actual book body in place. Hey, Katie, want to do me a favor? Hand me the books that we made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's show them off. Hey, Jimmy, you ever meet Bongo? I never met Bongo. Can you tell me when you're next in the UK? Well, oh, thank you, Katie.
Welcome.
Check these guys out. These are ones we just made this week. These are leather-bound journals, of course. These will be, I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do with these. I might put these on eBay. I'm not sure. Every time everybody sees them, they say, hold that one for me, hold that one for me, but I never told them a price, and I'm afraid if I do, they won't be my friend anymore. So we got chocolate brown with the yellow end pages. And the red was really nice with the blue end page. And the black is my favorite book, but I kind of messed up the end pages on these. I used these red end pages, which kind of got glued together to everything. So I might cut these open and redo them. They're beautiful, but the end pages were almost like very fibrous, and the glue went right through them and kind of glued them together a little bit strangely. So I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out how to repair this. These end pages are... Anyway, it still looks pretty, and it functions as a book. Just the end pages are a little wacky. And then we have this. This would be walnut with a blue end page. Any good questions? It's not working.
So people are just asking, like, how much is the
the journals? Everybody's sitting down, I hope, because they're completely handmade from start to finish. I mean, these 4 books took me all week to make. I'm going to ask at least $500 each for them. And if I don't sell any of them because people are going to be afraid they're too expensive, I'll just use them myself. So that's really where I'm at with these. They're a labor of love. They're not really a labor to make money. So they're going to be kind of priced at a point where, like, only the real people who want my stuff will get them. And that's just because they're so difficult to hand make. And the ones that I'm selling for like $10, they just have the printed image on the front. We buy the books and we just print the front. I'm looking very woolly today. All right.
Do we do an international, like to India? Would we be able to ship those to India?
We are shipping books. We are shipping product from the website all around the world. Certain countries, and I can't sit here and list them because I personally don't know. Scott is my guy who handles the website. Scott would know. So if you're in a specific country, email Scott and he'll let you know, because we have different deals with UPS and the United States Post Office about where things go. So every, different faraway places or different places are complicated for different reasons. So he would know the answers to that.
Are we going to April's workshop grand opening?
I might. It's a couple of weeks away, so it might be a little too soon for me. I don't know. We'll see how spontaneous I get. We'll see. April and I spoke the other day about that. I'll start going through this book and just show you some. A lot of people always wonder where I come up with ideas, and I just start writing things down. It's going to be hard for me to see the inside of this book and talk about it at the same time. This was when you and I, Aaron, were talking about shop organization. So we had a big box, like a third of that box and two of those. So this would fit inside of that, and these two would fit inside of that. So we have different organizational options. Now I'm frozen. There I am.
I still got it.
Okay. So that's what I have there, just showing some ideas. This is before I actually made the journal before I made the second journal. So obviously I couldn't have drawn this in it if it didn't exist yet. But just after I made this journal, I started thinking of ideas. And you can see here, this is the clamp that keeps the book body in place. And this is my idea to kind of give that book a little bit of like an old school arch. I would have maybe CNC'd this as the book pages would rest on that. Is it freezing for you or just me?
What's up? I still have it.
Oh, looks like I'm freezing a little bit. You guys notice that I've been cutting these blades out of the saws. And this is an idea for little blades, but I've been selling the big ones. So this is an idea I had. Some stuff I date, but this was in December. This is early concepts for the shop organization boxes that we made, the ones that I finger jointed. So this is early. I was in an antique shop and I saw this like factory rack that hooks on this grid. And so these are things you could reorganize. It's nothing that's extraordinarily new. I mean, this is the type of thing you can get from Harbor Freight. It's like the thing you bought from Harbor Freight, Aaron.
Oh, right on.
But this is all metal. Everything was metal because it was made like in the 1900s. So it was much, much more sturdy. Again, going to those boxes that you might have seen. So you're seeing all sketch concepts before I actually make a lot of this stuff. I never did make an organizational box for the boxes themselves. We just ended up using those boxes all around the shop for different reasons. Is there one here? There's not one right here, but anyway. And you can see my thought process for the label end. If you have any questions for what I'm doing right here, you let me know. Again, you could see, I just like this as a classic image, this wheel from the printing press. So I just put it on there really just for fun. And then I was going to get these brass label cards. And then I was like, I might as well just laser cut them in just because it's fun.
Somebody's asking about measurements for a chessboard. And then, let me see. Coyote Project's asking about collaboration videos. We do collaborations all the time.
I do collabs with people all the time. I mean, it's a little organizational pain in the butt sometimes trying to get people to get on the same page because we all have so many things to do on our own. So it's a little difficult. This is me just thinking about the license plate idea. I sometimes draw pictures of things so that when I'm flipping through my notebook, I kind of get a quick, oh yeah, don't forget about that, instead of writing it down. This is an idea I have. This could still be a concept, although it's probably already patented. You'll see some of my inventions. This is a crazy straw. And you would take it as a kid, you would take the crazy straw and freeze it in a block, like an ice cube tray. So then when you drink the crazy straw, all the liquid would be going through the crazy straw getting cold. So it's like a cold radiator straw. Could still be a product idea.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe I'll make that video. I've just published it, so if you steal it, the idea is published.
Crazy straw. Somebody's asking about the big lathe.
Oh, the big lathe. I got one more project to do, then I'm going to get the motor restored. You can see here, this is the Brad Leone barbecue idea. I had already made it by the time I made this book, but I had to remake it. So I was just thinking of ideas on how to do the Brad Leone barbecue pick up and drop down ratcheting concept. So that's what you see here, me just thinking things through. A lot of people jump right to like a CGI. I can't do that. I have to CGI. It's so much easier for me to draw like this, and then I go right to build most of the time. This is me thinking of like taking one sheet of plywood and figuring out ways of locking it together, all CNC. So you'd have these kind of mushroom caps that would pop in there and then lock down. That might be a video idea, but CNCs, I'm always nervous about CNCs because they usually go really quick and everyone gets mad. I've been wanting to make this hammer for a long time, but this is one of the first images I drew in this notebook of this hammer. You'll see a lot of images of this hammer. I was supposed to come to the UK. Yeah, I would have been there right now. But here's me, again, thinking of that CNC shelf idea. Whenever I'd make this, I'd always do 3 fixed shelves, 1, 2, and 3, and then every other one would move in between. So you could choose where you want it. So 1, 2, 3 would be fixed to give the side structure, and then the ones you have a couple spaces above and a couple spaces below it. A funny thing about adjustable shelves, and everybody watching who has adjustable shelves, you set it the day you put them in and you never readjust them ever again. So I don't really like adjustable shelves. I just make them the way I want them. Always taking a little bit of notes here. This is lecture ideas.
My friend Raina's on.
Raina! How are you, Raina? Let's see. I don't know what I was drawing here. I got to cover up a password. But I don't know what I'm drawing right here. It looks like a wire bender. I don't know what I was thinking. Can't remember. And it even has a specific size. Oh, and then this is the beginning of me making my scissors, my big scissors. So you could see my big scissors right here for the first time. Started thinking them through. And again, just making this was originally the chef knife for the Peter Brown collaboration. I like chef knives that have a dead flat back, right from the handle all the way across the back. I believe that I'll probably never make another chef knife ever again that doesn't have a dead flat back, because that's just what I like when I use them.
Is there anything in there about the Cadillac?
Oh yeah, I got some sketches coming up for the Cadillac. Making it, I was going to make a big making it logo sign. I just haven't done it yet. And you can see here, every once in a while I call it the brain dump, where I just do a bunch of ideas. And right here I have the scissors, making it sign, large mallet, CNC plywood shelf, coffee table for the maker mob, 10 tables, Damascus knife, bandsaw sculpt. So every once in a while I see these lists in my book and I go back and I'm like, oh, made that, didn't make that, could still make that. So they're just ideas. They're not necessarily things that I'm definitely going to make.
When making notebooks, would regular photocopier paper work?
Yeah,
is that
definitely.
Paper?
No, I just happen to like this paper. I found it on Amazon recently. You just Google vellum or parchment. It's not real parchment's made from like lambskin or something, but you know, if this was the Dark Ages and we needed parchment, it would be made out of something that's not real paper. So this is fake parchment. I don't. They just go back into my life and they disappear.
Do you ever buy stuff at flea markets that you think is stolen, and do you know if it's shady, and would you?
I not recently, but in the city, I would buy stolen stuff occasionally. I'm guilty as charged, because people would come to me and say, if I didn't buy it, somebody was going to buy it. So if I didn't buy it, it wasn't going to save it from being stolen because it was already stolen. So that's just life in the big city. Molded leather, just more notes about molding the front. This is a concept me and Taylor are working on for a table. You can see these notes are like discussion notes where I draw, then Taylor draws, then I draw. Molded leather stitched wallet. So again, just talking about molded leather again. So I have that there. Let's see. Oh, this was an idea I had for a lamp. And we're talking about using resin. And I was going to take like a basketball or something and just drape a towel over it soaked with resin. Let the towel dry, pull the ball out, and then make lamp bases and just have it up in the air with like a flickering light in it. So it looks like drippy lamps, but face up, like flame lamps. Like, what is that show that was filmed in the dark about the Great Thrones? Everybody's walking around in the snow and horses.
Oh,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
So I was thinking of like a Game of Thrones thing. Here I'm thinking of an everyday carry pen made with square stock because it's just different than everything else. So I think, why would we have square stock? We'd put a ruler on it. And that's not so original, but that's just trying to figure out how to take that and make it original. You guys remember, this is around the time, laser bandsaw, pickup truck to caddy, rat rod, and jeans. There's another little product list idea. Just stuff, just me thinking. This is the beginning of what became the brass hammer. I'm not dating any of this. It's a bad habit. Again, just my to-do list, more to-do list stuff, and you can see I cross it off when I go. This is January 15th. Oh, and here's some pretty drawings. When I really started to get a concept for the brass mallet, and you can see this is really where I started basically define the idea of intersecting objects, and it was really just I wanted to make a hammer that I could stand on its end or on its side, and it wasn't going to fall off the table. And then this is me just doing a sketch of Giacometti's never-ending column. That's for you art students out there. And then again, more details about the hammer. If I did a ball peen on one end, what if I made a collar on it? And then I kind of drew these and then came to this conclusion that I just wanted a flat face on both sides, just for symmetry. You guys remember this? Oh, am I frozen?
No, you did.
This is the knife I made. And again, I don't do much more than a drawing like this. I'll do that sketch and then say, okay, I got a good idea. Now it's getting into the Anvil stand, the Anvil lift up stand, and you can see all the different iterations of this. This really kind of had me boggled. Similar to the idea Brett just did, where you just have wheels on the side. A lot of people have done that. Now this is where I'm trying to think of that lever action that pulls up. This is really where I realized if this pivot point comes over this pivot point, it's going to stay in place. And that's not something I invented. That's just something I've observed on other objects.
Did you talk about how long you've actually had that journal when you made it?
I made it in December. So it's like I made it in the middle of December. So how long ago was that? 6 months ago.
Do you have any specific kind of pens for sketching?
No, I typically use a pencil or a Sharpie.
And then Bernie's asking, is that paper from French Paper in Michigan?
No, Bernie, this I get from, you're going to laugh at me. Everybody get prepared to make fun. I buy this from FedEx Kinko's. But since FedEx Kinko's is now closed, I just got this ream the other day. I'll show you that. I got this on Amazon. And this was like 13 bucks. And I could probably get 15 journals out of this amount of paper because I fold it back on itself. And this paper is Skytone aged vellum, 60-pound text, 8.5 by 11, 500 sheets. It was about $15.
Did you talk already about how you track your notebooks and how many you have?
I mean, from art school till now, I probably have, I don't know, 100, but they're all just piled in boxes and just thrown around. I don't organize anything. If there's like a DiResta library when I'm dead, it's just going to be a giant attic full of shit. It's just going to be a giant attic full of shit. And people will walk around going, oh boy, he should have had somebody organizing this stuff. So this is me just doing some more studies on the wheels and the idea of what's going to happen when the wheels get kicked up and get kicked down. Will there be a handle on both sides to kick up this thingy dingy? This is really where it started to focus. What should it really look like?
Vanessa Kitty is asking, what thread are you using to bind the pages?
I use like a nylon thread for sewing leather. So if you were to wrap it around 2 fingers and did this, you would cut your fingers. It wouldn't break. It's Katie, do we have that? Are you working on that thread now? Can we show that spool of thread?
Yeah, absolutely.
And bring me Katie's our new shop assistant. Bring me that ball of thread and then bring me a signature, just like one of the ones that I didn't use.
A signature? What do you mean?
You know, the packet of paper. The ones you're working on right now.
And then somebody's asking, have you ever considered a small folding machine? Like a paper folding machine?
There's a folding machine?
To fold the paper.
These are my folding machines right now. Thank you. This is the thread that we've been using. This is just, you can't break this. If I try to break it, it would cut my skin. So this is like leather nylon thread. And then this is a signature. The books are all made up of 8-page signatures, and there's 8 signatures. So 8 times 8, there's 64 individual pages. 64 times 2 is 2 sides. That's 128 pages. So the journals typically are 128 pages of just, 128 sides. That's it. Thank you. That's it. No, I showed that one.
Okay.
And going back to drawings, you can see here, this is when I really started to kind of develop the concept. And even this wasn't right. When I started to actually physically make it, I had to make some changes. That's the one thing. That's why I don't like to draw so much and like go into SketchUp or Fusion. I mean, just for solid, simple objects, I'll do Fusion. I'll do a cut path for, so I'm working on the ice pick thing. This, by the way, I drew this while I was driving last night on my Palm. I'm going to make a step stool to seat, the old classic kind of farmhouse step stool to seat. Did you ever see one of those? Did you ever see like a step stool to seat?
Yeah.
So that was a drawing to remind me to draw it. So I drew that quickly at a red light, and then today I'll draw it in my sketchbook. This is a tailor drawing, coming up with an idea for a table that's kind of looks like it's made out of vines, but it's all made out of steel, like welded up steel. That's Taylor's hand drawing. This is my new version. So this is, again, just a little detail of the knife that I probably had already made by the time this came out. I just was thinking of a detail right here, so I draw it. But this is a new version of the anvil stand, and I have a 700-pound anvil that needs a mobile base. So this is the concept I'm going to use for the mobile base, for the new mobile base, so 2.0. It basically is just wedges on the stand and wedges on the thing, and then you'll pull this like wagon wheel thing. It's going to shift this whole thing, and it's going to push the levers. The ramps are going to push the anvil up, and then now the wheels will be in charge. And then when you push that back, the ramps go back down, and then the anvil base sits on the ground, and now the anvil's in charge. That makes sense?
Yeah. Ice pick pens for the journals.
Ice pick pens, yeah. It's been a consideration. Here, and here. Again, thinking this through, here you can see a better drawing. This is the 700-pound anvil wagon. You'd push that down. It would pull this whole thing forward. The ramps would engage with the pins on the base and push the base up in the air. And the base is now solidified in here. It was not going to go left and right. Only this cage moves. This cage will have a travel of about 2 inches. You can see what's going on here, kind of. And then this would move up, and the anvil would be raised in the air, and now the wheels are in charge. So that's Anvil Base 2.0. I started thinking of the stools early on, just thinking of what they might look like, just kind of getting a scale concept. This is an idea of a 4-sided. This is a 3-sided stool. And now this is me just thinking of how to make that brass handle. Just pour a 2-inch ingot, take it right out, and then simple machining.
Favorite pen or pencil for note taking?
I like a pointy Sharpie and just any pencil that's a soft lead. I like to try and think that I have favorites, but I'm so disorganized. I just draw with, if I could draw with the back of a cigarette, I would draw. I just like whatever's around me. I don't smoke, by the way. I'm just saying, like, I just draw with anything. I like these a lot, but I can never find them. So this is just a mechanical pencil. I like having the option to use an eraser, although I never do it. But this is just a simple mechanical pencil. I get these on Amazon. I usually buy 5 or 6 different ones at a time. And as soon as I open the package, I lose them. So I never know where they are. There's me just talking about, so A-Bomb, I was doing a project for A-Bomb, Masterpiece Theater. I don't know what that means. Badge, bills, and brass hammer. So that's my to-do list typically, like on a Monday morning. And I want to do a Sam Maloof style chair. So you'll see like every 30 pages in a notebook, I draw a Sam Maloof rocker. I don't do anything about it, but I always write that. This is still working on the brass hammer idea. I had this concept for like a bandsaw lathe idea where I'd have it on a drill, like kind of Izzy Swan style, and I would freestyle this round handle on a bandsaw blade. I never did it. So if anybody wants to do it, let me know if it works. Still hadn't machined the head yet, so just thinking of different subtles. The Game of Thrones fire basket.
Does the notebook have a home in the shop, or is it always with you?
It's always with me. It's usually on the front seat of my car. more ideas about that lathe concept. Again, the mallet's going to start showing itself. Every time I flip through it, I see 15 pictures of the mallet.
Jackman says, thanks for all the ideas. He'll be set for video ideas for months. Definitely not stolen. He's screen capping your sketchbook as you go along.
That's all right, Jack. You could do that. I got to enter this into a contract that me and Jackman are working on, this book. Just raised letters. Weaver, I might be working on a sign. I mean, COVID hit and everything got stopped, but I was working on a sign for one of Weaver's retail shops. And we were talking about covering wood with leather and then hammer nailing nails all around it and then letting the weather just shrink the leather and just see what happens. So it would look like something you'd see like at an old dude ranch. Go-kart. What am I thinking here for go-karts? Oh, I was thinking of like, I was just equating myself, familiarizing myself with a steering mechanism for go-kart. So when I started to think through go-kart, making a go-kart, and I was thinking of like how I could go. So right here, I write fence to go-kart. You know, my big concept all the time is the transformation. What is going to be the transformation? Like, how are you going to start with a pile of material and then it's going to become something interesting? And, you know, sometimes that's reinventing something. And so right here, I wrote fence to go-kart. So if we start with that shitty old fence at the go-kart track, just start that as stock and then turn that into a go-kart for the track and then put up a new fence. Cool. So that was what that idea was. This isn't so new, but I was thinking, just figuring out what to do with the water jet out like a knife kit. So you'd get like a square, like the way, like a model kit. You've been working on some of these model kits where you get like the injected rack and all the parts are in there and you snap them off. So this is a knife kit where you get like a flat piece of steel and all the parts are water jet right out of it. And then you get that and you pull it out. You get to keep the extra for whatever. And then you get to pop all the parts out. Just thinking in terms of like website stuff. Here I'm thinking of a razor blade to knife. So you'd have a flip blade. The blade would flip out and your knife, your utility blade would go inside and then the big knife would stick out and vice versa. So it would always be either this blade or that blade hanging out of the knife. It would literally flip. It would be a pivot point right here. Just an idea. So these are how ideas begin. Something I've been wanting to do for a really long time is a business card that I give out at an event or to a friend, and then they have to do something with it. They have to take that business card and make something out of it. And the simplest thing is, I started thinking in terms of, if I give you a business card that's the size of like, you know, the drawing, as big as this drawing. So you'd have to make it into a little cube. And just thinking in terms of like a rice box you would get at a Chinese takeout. That's how they're designed. Just thinking of different ideas where, so like if we're at Workbench Con, you'd see these little boxes like scattered in the garbage. And then thinking of, am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Thinking of the same thing where it would just say box. And now I couldn't think of what the graphics would be. I have a good idea now. So I'm just showing you, this is like probably in February. And I'm trying to think of like, what would the graphics be? So I plant a seed, and then in a few weeks, I finally came up with a good idea, which I'll show you. Then I was thinking of terms of like, if I was going to make a box, I could fold it up to look like this. And I already had the idea of making it letter blocks. So I said letter blocks, ABC. So you'd fold this up and it would have letter blocks on it. But I came up with, it's blatantly obvious what it should say and what it will say when I have these made. Thinking of the bandsaw sculpting video that I did a few months ago, like what my robot guy and then these other shapes. These are kind of the classic things I make each time I do a little fair. And this is the back of the drill press that I restored with Rob Rojas. Trying to think of where to mount the motor. And on that upright thing, I was going to make a whole motor mount and have the motor mount be right here. So in reality, this would have gone all the way up out of the picture into a line shaft. But if we mounted a motor on that upright, which is available space, ultimately, it wasn't really about this. It was about the drill press, which was done. So I just put the motor mount on a pallet next to it. I always like this one. Like, this is exciting to me when I accidentally skip a spread, so then I can go back into the middle of the notebook and plant.
It's like finding a 10 in your wallet when you do laundry or something.
Yeah, I could go back and plant the secret. So what am I doing here? The never-ending idea for duffel bags or carry bags, and just sketching up some ideas for a duffel bag or an opening bag that will open with like molded leather sides. This is interesting. Temptation to destroy or build. I don't know what I was thinking. Temptation to destroy or build. I was just trying to think of what a metal weave would look like. And this shape, if you plasma cut this shape and add a lot of them together, it starts to look like this. I'm not exactly sure how, but I remember thinking like, what is the definitive repetitive pattern inside of this? And this is in leather stamp. So it's not something I invented. It's just something I saw in a leather stamp, and I wanted to take that concept and use it some other way. And this is the beginning of what became my metal finger jointed stool. I was thinking in terms of like packaging design. If we were going to make a little folded leather stool, like flat packed metal leather stool, what would that look like?
Oh, nice.
I could still make that.
Yeah, well, you can send it with Jiffy rivets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Frame, guitar, stool, Tormach stamp. Is just again another list of just a little regurgitation of some ideas. Some of them got made, some of them are still not made.
ink sources for a letterpress printer, or ink names or recommendations?
Rubber. I use rubber-based ink. I get it at Boxcar Press. I think they're in Syracuse, New York, but just boxcarpress.com. And that's where I get my postcards when I print postcards. If I go to events and I have postcards with me, it's the thick stock. And like recently I printed, here's one. This is a bad version of that print, but this is printed on paper that I get at Boxcar Press. This is one that lays around. And it's a little, this might have been sometimes the Heidelberg picks up 2 or 3 pieces of paper at once, and that front print gets completely jammed in. So that's what that is. That's got 2 pieces of paper stuck to the back of it when it gets printed. But anyway, this is this thick stock I get from Boxcar Press. It's really nice stuff. And I use this as postcards. This is half of a postcard. So if anybody's ever met me and they've gotten a postcard that says, I am, therefore I make, this is that size, but cut directly in half.
Have you ever tried to make your own paper?
Nah. Not for me. I mean, I know it's possible, but I'm not going to go to like a crafts fair and I'll print on that.
Oh.
Anyway, this is the beginning of the concept for the Jesse, the Jesse frame for the Jesse fundraiser. Just trying to think here. Oh, so I was thinking what would the braid look like? If you guys remember, I did that frame. What is Jesse's last name? I'm just drawing a blank. Jesse Combs. Yeah, I just draw a blank. So the weave, this would be the leather weave around here. I was just thinking of what that would look like.
Somebody was asking where you got the sales display of the axe.
My brother just asked me. I got those both at antique shops. I paid $95 for that. And I paid about $75 for that. This is from 1959. And the other one is a little bit newer. But they're very old. This is interesting. 2 interesting concepts on here, which no one's allowed to steal. This is, I don't know, this is anyway, this is some sort of stopping mechanism I was thinking about. I can't remember what that applied to. This is the beginning of the stool weaving thing, which the stool's sitting right here next to me. This is the weaving stool, which maybe I'll show you. Hang on. So for those that haven't seen it, this is the woven finger stool. Finger jointed weaves, blah, 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 blah. And this is where the sketch first came up, sitting on an airplane. Thinking if I could do that and fold it. Frozen. I was thinking if I could just make that in one cut and fold it, but then you realize how much real estate of material you're wasting, and then you get skimpy and you start thinking of it how to do it differently. And then this is the idea. I draw this every couple of years. This is an iPhone case with a knife in it. How could you retract the knife blade into an iPhone case? And this is my idea where you could pull it back and lock it in that L shape, and then you push it up and it would be spring loaded somehow to go forward. So Don't anybody steal my iPhone switchblade case.
Maybe
And-
just a quick talk about like how like world travel and do you travel to like Mexico or any other places or?
I've been around the world. In my lifetime, I've been to Italy twice. I've been to England several times, maybe 15 times to England. I've been to Hong Kong maybe 70 times. I used to go to the Hong Kong all the time in the 90s into the early 2000s. I've been to Japan. I've been to Australia. I've been to Germany a few times. I've been to Spain a few times. I've been to never went to Egypt, never went to Africa, 2 places on my list. Never been to the Middle East. But I mean, traveling is a must for an artist. You really got to go and see the world. Being in Florence and Rome is just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And okay, let's see where we're at. Again, I was sitting on an airplane. This was March 4th. Is that what that was? Yeah, March 4th. No, what's the third month? March?
January, February, March. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is March 4th. Wow, I got a lot done since the pandemic started. This is tabs, the tab concept. And I was going to start a whole company called Tabs. But I'm not starting no company called Tabs. Oh, here, it says going to Kansas to host the Make 48 show, 3/4/2020. I don't know what I was drawing here. Toothbrush. Oh, so I came up with this little idea while I was in Kansas. It's a toothbrush that has a cover like the marble. You guys know the marble axe where the handle comes. You guys know the marble axe? It's a marble axe. I'm drawing it backwards into a camera, but the marble, you know, Marbles, the knife company? Marbles, the knife company, makes an axe protector. So the blade, and it's pivoted here, so it'll spin into space out of the way.
Oh, neat.
So you could spin it back. So the marbles axe handle applied to a toothbrush. So this is your toothbrush cover, which would spin backwards away from the head of your toothbrush.
That's a pretty good idea, actually.
All right. Don't steal it. What am I doing here? This was just thinking of how to incorporate leather into a wood build. And I came up with the idea room divider and the leather panels, the room divider with arched tops, like a little cabinet chesty thing. This would have been like a Thomas Jefferson like lap desk, and then a stool, and then the stool was the one I've been always wanting to make, and then I'm like, stool with leather tops. There you go. Thank you.
Somebody wants you to make black notebooks with black covers, black paper, everything black. They want to write in them with thin white markers.
Tell Marilyn Manson I'll DM him. DM me, Marilyn. Again, just room dividers. I've been wanting to make an outhouse for a really long time. I always draw this. If you go through my notebook since I started YouTube, like about every 100 pages, a picture of an outhouse. And then this is the final concept for the stools that I ended up making for my kitchen. And I left out this wrong because once I made this in steel, I kind of had that breakthrough to make this in steel. I didn't need this anymore. I've been wanting to make a brick. I wanted to make a brick, and the whole concept of the brick is I'm going to make a mold with my logo in it, and then I'm going to cast a bunch of bricks in yellow sand because each brick is going to be yellow sand, yellow brick. Say with me, the yellow brick road. Everybody's going to have a brick to the yellow brick road. So this summer we'll make a mold, a brick mold, and we're going to figure out how to make yellow casting sand and blah, 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 blah. This is a fun little page. You can see sometimes I get interested in drawing. Sometimes I'm too lazy. But I've been wanting to make one of these big chopper dudes for you see these a lot lately, these crazy chopper knives. Again, more of the same idea with that kitchen knife with the straight back. This is my brick mold. This is just a big tree stump with some sexy legs. Nothing, just something I've been wanting to make, just something I've seen. More again with the stool idea, more hammer concept. Giant mallet, smash a watermelon. This is what I thought of it. Giant mallet, smash a watermelon. A friend of mine wanted a couple things came together all at the same time. A friend of mine said, "Can I have like a secret box? I want to keep my secret stuff in my secret box. That's only legal in certain states." So he wanted to keep his secret stuff in a secret box. And then these guys came to me and said, "Hey, let's do the scrapwood challenge." So I decided to make the secret box in the scrapwood challenge. But this was before that, and I was just trying to think of like a box that opens up. So you'd have to pull it out and then pull it out, just to try and keep somebody who doesn't know. I mean, there's obviously lots of ways to make very complicated puzzle boxes, but I was thinking of a real subtle way. A couple of months went by. I mean, a couple of weeks went by, and I actually really started to draw this to make it for real. And this was the complicated thing right here. For me, this was the breakthrough, how all three tabs come together and what is the order of operations for those three tabs to come together to make a clean corner. And once I figured that out, I was home free. What pattern do I have to make the corner look like it's finished, as opposed to having these fold over each other, one not folded the right way, you know, and that means each corner has to start with the right piece. And here I drew it, and if every piece is exactly the same as this, but one's shaped like the legs and one's shaped like the top, you'd get that regulated corner where it would always be the same. Now this is March 31st when I started to make the stool with just the bottom rung and steel. I didn't know exactly yet how the steel would be connected. And then this is something I want to make. I want to make a rotten molar chair. So it's just a big rotten molar. So you're sitting in the cavity. Ask me how I know about rotten molars. So I'd get like maybe a tree trunk or something that's big enough, and it'd be like a Arbor Tech job. Again, I'm always thinking of the transformation, like if it starts out as this and it ends up like that, the arc in between is up to me. And here you see, it starts out like this and ends up like that. This is when this project became more focused. Then I got the Cadillac, and I started thinking of names for the Cadillac. I want to call it the Ghost Ship, Caddy Rat. Here's my the Ghost Ship, Caddy Rat, Catarat. And I thought about plasma cutting my name right through the deck lid, which I'm not going to do because I decided against it. But realizing I need to do floors in it, I said plasma cutting DiResta right in the side of the fender. What does this say here? Sticker wall. Oh, so this would be like everybody that comes as a meetup, wherever we'd have meetups in the Northeast when I have the Cadillac, everybody would put their sticker underneath the trunk lid.
That's a good idea.
That would be a fun idea.
Yeah, it would. Somebody's asking about, have you ever thought of making coins for like your Patreon or something like that?
I did. Actually, it's so funny. I was at the flea market this morning, and one of the guys at the flea market had a tray of like old stamps. And I got to get with Stamp Yours. We talked about it months ago, and I just haven't done it. I want to get with Stamp Yours and do an engraving, and then I'd make them on the hydraulic press. So it is an idea. Now, this is exactly the day I started making the stool, and you could see how detailed notes get. So you can see here. I'm taking, again, I was still on the idea of having that rung there maybe. And here you could see where I decided to do exactly what I ended up doing. Get rid of the second rung, make the collars. This is going to be the size that I ended up making, the height, what width this needs to be, so that I got to make more stools, by the way. Now this is the collar thing. So I had to develop some standardization. Spider, this is what I had to do. Spider CNC, big mallet, caddy, preferred sign. I have to make a sign for preferred. Thinking of a logo, Ghost Ship, the Ghost Ship logo for the, but it's too skull and spades for my taste. Too skull and spades for me. But here we have a cover. I'm trying to think of what the convertible top of the caddy could be. What do I got here? Yellow bricks. Yellow bricks. It was going to be for Carolina's shoes, but I'm not making videos for them right now. Here you could see this clippy do. I don't know what that was for. Here's the hammer again. And I decided I wanted to make nails in that video. And this is me just drawing nails so I don't forget to make nails for the ring. Sometimes I have to draw something so I don't forget.
Somebody says you're just trying to get everyone to make stuff you don't have time to make.
You
Show
could do
us
that.
the idea.
No, a lot of the stuff I made. And this is the idea for the folding stool. The folding picnic table started to come into focus. And then I started looking at other ones online and I realized I wanted more symmetry from the side. I didn't want the idea of like arms on one of them and not on the other. Here. Phone knife. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but phone knife. And then I realized halfway through making the mallet, I wanted this to taper in through the top. That wasn't my original idea. I only started that when I started working on the lathe. And when I was on the lathe, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a mallet that never slides off. It's going to be kind of Euro style, where this hole is going to be big enough. And then this is the taper. And I drew the notes for the taper so that I can go and make the reamer. What is this? Thick rocker, G&H. I like to do this when I have a to-do list. That's real important. This is a stressful week when you see the things crossed off like that, because I get like a sense of like adrenaline when I cross them off. I know that that's done. I started thinking of like CNC locks and chain links, and again that business card idea. This is what the Sam Maloof chair might look like. Oh, this is the scrapwood challenge. I started thinking about what the scrapwood challenge lid would look like. I knew I wanted these corners. I still didn't know I was angular shape. I didn't know yet. I started thinking of chain links. Here's me drawing. The way the lid might work. I'm not sure yet. Some details. And this is an image I had in a dream. So I just happened to remember it when I woke up, so I drew it. It's very similar to the thing that Bernie just made for his amethyst.
So I was just thinking.
It's very similar, but instead of 4, it's got, what is that, 6?
Yeah, his had 3.
But actually, I'm remembering it now. It wasn't necessarily like screw in, go this way. This is a gear. This is a crown gear, and these are crown gears, and it spins on side. So it's like a lazy Susan where everything's exposed to the outside edge. And then it would also turn, I don't know, just a dream. Oh, this is my idea for chain links. Chain link fun time. CNC chain link fun time. If anybody wants to make these, go for it. Just having some ideas. Just like taking a sheet of plywood and turning it into a chain. Think of that like that thumbnail, like, you know, that plywood to chain? Like a big arrow, like a big plywood, and then like a guy with like chain all around his neck. Bobby Dukes can do that idea, but he can hand sculpt every single one of them. My up and down barbecue concept, we're developing some ideas, and I have the idea of the doohickey that goes up and down, and it pulls. No one's going to understand what I'm talking about, except for maybe Izzy. This lead screw pulls the bottom, so the scissor goes up like this. The lead screw pulls the bottom one, so it goes like that, and that raises it up because they both go like this. This concept, the lead screw is in the middle, and I get a screw out of a turnbuckle, cut the 2 turnbuckle parts apart, and when I turn this thing from the middle, this pinches together, and they go up together and down together. So it has an extra tier. It goes up probably a little bit faster and higher. And the idea is the crank is in the scissor, not underneath the scissor. Izzy, email me. This is a concept I thought of, but turns out it's already been invented, and I had a good feeling that it would have been. It's a mask with ear hooks, like you wear like glasses. And here's another idea where you just hold it in your teeth, but you have to breathe through your nose. I hate having to do the rubber band thing, so I was just going to like throw the mask on, hold it in my teeth, not talk to anybody, do my thing, and leave the store, and then take it right off. So this probably is patentable.
Let's see.
Don't patent it.
Parts for the hot tub still, right?
Yeah, the parts come in. I gotta get up underneath there and make them fit. And here, this is sort of the beginning of the idea of the jig jag knife, the spatula knife. Oh, I'm looking at my book upside down. I'm going backwards. Now, this is an idea that I came up with just a couple of weeks ago. And we're getting to the end of at least like the drawings. A couple of weeks ago, I came up with this idea, and this is something I'm going to do. It falls into that category of, is this too simple for an idea? Is this too simple for a video? Is this just an Instagram post? I'll show you. Wanted to laser cut something that needed no rivets and no stitching. And this is just really packaging and packaging design and material design. Came up with this kind of tuck and loop. If I was going to do like a lasered handbag concept or a tool pouch, you get it like this rolled up, you open it up and you just stick it all together. Poke and lock. Makes sense? Makes sense? I thought I had a better drawing of it. That's why I went to the next page, but I don't. Here I'm thinking of a notebook like the one I'm holding, but that would snaps that flap over into like, so I can, because this notebook just lays around like this, like half open all the time, because I'm always jamming stuff in it. The best thing about this notebook compared to like a moleskin or anything else I've ever had, it doesn't break. The binding doesn't break off because it's one continuous piece of leather. Like this notebook, maybe I can go through this notebook too. It only has a couple of ideas in it. This notebook, I have these before I'm halfway through it, this binding rips off because I'm always jamming stuff in it. So like I'll take a pencil like this and stick a pencil like this in it and I destroy the binding because that ends up happening. But with this notebook, I can do that to this and it's so flexible. It doesn't tear because this isn't going to tear because it doesn't tear. So the idea is here, this would be like this would flap over and snap onto the lid. So this would close. It would have a flap that snaps here. What?
You thought of making a cool bookmark for it. And Rob from Real House Copper, he says hi.
Hey, Rob. So this is some early drawings. If you guys were following me about a month ago, I started doing all these drawings on Fusion. But before I did Fusion, I hand drew them. So I was just talking to the factory that's going to manufacture this concept. And I just hand drew all these drawings with a Sharpie. And this is when I have a couple of cups of coffee and I'm just sitting and I'm focusing. I could draw straight lines. And again, just a little concept dump, just a little concept video dump, and I'll read them off quick. Fire basket, offset knife, which I made, spatula, Maloof style chair again, 2 more stools, the CNC shelf, laser leather tabs, which I just showed you, the iPhone knife, a wooden cannon, making a firing cannon, but making it of wood. A giant anvil stand. The anvil stand I showed you that moves around for the giant anvil. Gates for my yard, which I've been meaning to make for the last 3 years. A gate door for the basement. My basement door is destroyed. It's always been destroyed to the basement of my old house. I want to do a doors like Big Jim's workshop just did. Really beautiful doors with some metalwork and wood. Injection molded video, which I had done. And I'm going to do a video on the bandsaw collection coming up soon.
Have you ever made a bat box? Would you want to make a bat box?
For baseball bats?
No, for bats, like a bat house.
You mean flying bats?
Yeah.
Aren't bats bad? Bats give diseases now, right? No, I never made it. I actually live in a bat house. The top part of my house is a bat house.
Oh, really? So
this is me thinking through the new thing that I'm working on. I wish I could pick my computer up and spin it, but I'm hooked to a hard drive. Hold on a minute. Let's get creative. I'm going to show you guys what that drawing is of. I'm going to turn my camera on face cam. Oh, look. There's Aaron across from me.
What's up?
And there's what that drawing was just now. That's can you zoom in on this? Hold on a minute. Where is it? Sorry. That's the right here is the bullet bourbon display. There's a little mess going on. Anyway, that's that drawing that you could see here. Me looking into the concept of what this is going to look like. This is weeks before I actually made it. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, I was thinking of Zippo lighter with knuckles. Sorry, everybody. So the idea of a Zippo lighter with rings on it, like knuckle rings. That's what I'm thinking. And then you'd say, how is it going to open? It can't open because the rings are next to each other. But the rings would be offset. So they would be like this. So when the cap opened up, they would fall into each other like that. Thank you. This is an idea I don't want to show. I'm going to cover my hand over it because when I do it, it's going to be a reveal at the end of the video. It's my R2D2 idea that I've been talking about doing with Bob for years. I drew these notes while we were talking the other day. I want to do a giant vise stand. That started coming up for the giant vise, which I never use because it's not on a big stand. Oh, and here is the little breakthrough for the card box. Remember the box that was going to be the brick, the block? I-make, I-M-A-K-E. So that's 5 letters, I make, and then the 6th letter would be my information, like, my name and phone number and my email address. So if we were at a show together, I'd give you this card, which we're going to die cut and print here at the shop. And it's going to have I make in like, half tones and stuff. This is an idea, me thinking of injection molding a pencil clip. Patrick said to me, come up with a pencil clip that you could stick onto any pencil. And this is something I only did a sketch of, but I could show you quickly what the concept is. So let's say you have a piece of material. Now it's going to be injection molded in the APXS machine. How can you flat injection mold a piece of plastic and make it be a clip for your pencil? And I thought of it. I just have to actually make it. I'll show you.
Were you going to ever produce a hatchet?
I was, but things got off the charts. And then what's his name ended up making his own hatchet company, and there was no reason to interfere with what Liam's doing. He's just so good at what he's doing. So that was before Liam really got his own thing going. I could still do it. We were going to make the hatchet with the aluminum handle. I could certainly still do it. The hardest thing's coming up with factories. I can't find factories in the U.S. to make anything. Nobody writes me back. Everyone's like, American made, American made, American made, American made. Hey, can you make me 2,000 of these razor blades? Yeah. Okay, let me think about it. American made, American made, American made. Hey, can you make me 20 of these? Yeah. Let me think about it. American made, American made. Anyway, I'm working on this concept right here before you. This is my very first breadboard model, proof of concept, flat injection molded pencil clip I'm showing you right now. And this heavily relies on the actual material that's going to be molded in polypropylene. I'm so tempted to just cut right on the face of my computer in front of me, but I'm not going to. So you could imagine, let me show you the drawing and then I'll show you the mechanical idea of it. You see this concept right here? Flat injection molded pencil clip. Freeze frame that. And this is what's going to happen right here. See that? Make it in America. Make it in America. Oh, can I call you back? Make it in America. Oh, yeah.
We got people in the chat who are like, try Australia or go British.
Make it in America. Yeah. You're not making 65 million pieces? Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't help you. Make it in America. Make it in America. Oh, yeah. Oh, your money's green? Oh, never mind. You don't pay me in gold? So this is the idea of the clip. And it will be held together by the tension of the plastic, which would be similar to the plastic of the keychain. The keychain's in here? I got it. It will be similar in girth and material to like this keychain material, polypropylene. Anyway, you can see where I'm going with that. And then this is an old idea that reoccurred last week. This was a concept idea for the barbecue ring that I made. And the idea of having these intersecting shapes. I ended up going with a more traditional look, but this was just an idea. And now this is going to be a video for Weaver, maybe in 2 weeks. It's going to be a fully CNC'd tool pouch, all riveted. So the whole entire thing will be made with rivets, all laser CNC holes. We might even make it a kit that people could buy. You buy it with a couple rivets. and you just put the whole thing together with a hammer. And I also this morning at the flea market thought of making a tool bucket made out of leather. Similar concept, all riveted together leather, rivets all around the bottom. Not necessarily to hold water, but to hold tools and farm stuff. Leather bucket. So more of the details of how the strap might intersect the top of that, what that might look like. The strap would get like this kind of folded over thing to give it more of a finished look, so that when you do grab the straps, the bag goes with it. So I hate picking up straps and then the bag's like, oh, you want me to go with the straps? But I thought you just wanted the straps. And then you pick it up and the bag goes, okay, I guess I'll come with you. But the idea that the straps in the bag like become one piece. That was the notion behind doing that. This is a concept of just a quick idea of a bunch, because we're doing the barbecue stuff. This would all be shish kebabs. You'd have one motor running, you throw shish kebabs in a row with gears on them, and then they would all spin. Don't steal that idea. Just thinking of uh-oh. Frozen? Oh.
You good?
Thinking of again more. This is a box drawer. This is something I've been drawing for a long time. It's the idea of like making a box that pulls out of like a frame, so that you could make a box drawer and attach it to any table. So that's the idea of that box drawer. It's actually something I wanted to make a lot of. Here you see the ejector pin idea, which I've been working on all week. That's this thing. And it's like an extra handle to like lift stuff. What's up, bro? Some friends walked in. Live streaming
on YouTube.
Live streaming to the world.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
On the World Wide Web.
Come on in. Let's see if anybody recognizes it. This is my old college buddy, Patty Boom. Patty, tell everybody what band you were in. What band does everybody know you from?
Well, let's give him a couple hints. We
Wait,
had
where are my scissors?
there was a song called
They're hanging up.
"Take Your Mama." Anybody know that?
Anybody in the comment section know Patty Boom?
Take Your Mama Out, and I Don't Feel Like Dancing. It's
This is a hint.
yes. That's as good as we're gonna do.
That's it. And
Right.
You're like, all right.
I'm nervous.
Pat was in the Scissor Sisters. How many times did you do Saturday Night Live?
We did Saturday Night Live once. We played all the major shows. We did Conan a few times. We did Saturday Night Live. We did Jimmy Kimmel. We did, remember it was like Colin Ferguson.
Oh yeah.
We did actually the freakiest one. We did Regis and Kelly.
Oh God, during the day?
No, 8 a.m.
No way. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like at sun up.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It was pretty crazy. And the best thing about that video clip is that you can find on YouTube. You know, the secret handshake for the Scissor Sisters is this. And those of you who know what I'm talking about know what that means.
Eh?
We got Regis to do it on the air. We're like, hey. we're like Regis, here, this is the official code. He was like, hey, let's give us a shot. And then we were like,
Scissor Sisters. Anybody
was good.
recognize anybody in the comments? Have a questions for Patty Boom?
Did Jimmy ever make a dartboard?
Pat, did I ever make a dartboard?
I'm not sure. I mean, a real dartboard?
I have made a dartboard. If you go back in my YouTube videos, you'll see. All
What are
right.
you guys doing?
We're just doing a live stream. I'm going through my book. Just
Okay.
show
Journal day?
journal. I'm actually at the last page. So I have.
a guy throw it up a bunch of Vulcan hand grip emojis.
So this is how many pages I haven't used yet. So this is all. Oh, what is that? Oh, you know what this is? This.
It's the same guy saying you were huge in the UK.
That's right. Number one, the number one record in 2004.
There you go. So this is a concept that me and Taylor just came up with. We just randomly opened the notebook while we were talking. And this is Taylor's going to make a table with like big round fat legs. And how can you attach them in packing? And I came up with this machine part that I got to consult with Kevin on. It's let's say that's a 1/4 inch ring and that's a 1/4 inch disc. They're threaded inside and outside. So it attaches to the leg. It's inset into the table. And so you just literally take the leg and just screw it up and in. So it's just basically a big, wide, flat bolt and nut. Capiche?
So we've been going for over an hour now.
All right, guys. I think that's it. Any other questions, comments? Give you guys a couple minutes in the questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
Do not type Scissor Sisters in the wrong search engine.
Let me see. I don't feel like dancing. Right? That's the name of one of your songs, right? Yeah.
And the whole chat's been full of like people from Brazil, Argentina, love from all over the world for Jimmy. A couple of dudes from the UK were for you. Where can I buy the sketchbook? That's going to be on the website.
The website or eBay. I'm not sure yet. Well, I'll put it on the web. Maybe I'll do an auction on the website. I'll ask the guys if they could do that. I don't know.
Somebody's asking for a build you'd like to redo but don't have time for.
What's that? Oh, is there a build I'd like to redo that I don't have time for? Well, I always want to redo the Witchblade. I always come up with better versions of the Witchblade. This is, if you guys seen, what is the shot of these guys? I can never.
Schindlerland.
Schindlerland. The guys that make these, they made. If you can buy these on my website, you can buy them in brass. But lately, they made the silver and the copper. They're not available yet, but I'm just showing you guys some cool stuff that these guys make.
Do you think you would ever publish a book of your drawings?
Oh, yeah, I would do that if somebody wanted to do the hard work. You know what? People always ask me, how come you don't make books? How come you don't make books? Because the one thing I hate about making books is they don't make money. That's the biggest thing. But the second biggest thing is I got to keep proofreading them. I can't spell or read, and those are the two things that you have to do if you're going to make a book. And those are the two things I don't want to do. So this is available on my website if you guys want to go and take a look. It's the I Make sticker in brass, make something every day. And it's like an old machine badge. And it's got VHB from 3M on it. So it sticks to anything. You can put it on your car. It's waterproof. Any other questions? Questions, comments?
Maybe an update on where we're at with classes.
Well, classes are obviously on hold because of the pandemic. Possibly we might end up hosting 2 blacksmith classes going into the fall if everything kind of lightens up. But there is a maker school that's taking place in Cleveland in August. And just Google Maker Summer Camp. No, sorry. Is it Maker? What the hell is it called? Maker School. Let me get the right name for everybody.
See, somebody from the Ukraine says hi. If you could change one thing that you have done in your life, what would it be? Something.
Maker Summer School is the next big event. Let's not forget Maker Summer School. So go check out the Instagram for Maker Summer School. What could I change in my life? I guess if I could change one thing in my life, it would not to always be 20 pounds overweight. That would be the one thing. Other than that, everything else was perfect.
Right.
Was that?
Have you thought about doing an online maker class, like a Zoom or something?
Yeah. I don't know. We tried that thing with my friend Carrie a few weeks ago, and it didn't go off. So I like hands-on in person. This is fun, just to show some visuals and just have a few questions and answers. But to actually sit down and expect people to do stuff, I mean, you could all do that for free watching my videos.
How's the turkey?
The turkey's good. The 2 baby turkeys are growing up real quick. A funny story, and I'll show it in the next vlog. We got 3 turkeys and 3 ducks at the same exact time. And they were the last batch we bought, and they hang out. Well, we lost one of the turkeys, died when he was a baby, but now the 2 turkeys and the 3 ducks are always together because they were in the cardboard box together. They're like we we died together, lie together. Anyway, I was gonna do a BIG lyric, but it's too dirty. What?
Nothing. Do you paint? Do you do paintings?
I don't do paintings. I haven't done paintings since art school. I find it's not quite rewarding as making something physically. So I don't paint. I sketch in means to an end to actually make.
Let's see, how's Willie?
Willie's doing good. He's down in the city. He didn't want to come up because he was afraid of the pandemic. He didn't want to bring anything with him. But Willie's at my apartment in New York. He's doing real good. We just spoke yesterday. He's sending me videos and stuff from what's going on in the city, and things are finally starting to calm down, thankfully.
And then people have asked it a couple times, and I've said it in the chat. They're asking about tips videos. I just told them that we're putting them together. We might have one eventually by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, the next tips video I think I'm going to do, because I've been doing so much of it, is a CNC tips video, and just all the little tricks and doodads that I do when I CNC. It's not obviously going to be extremely popular, but for those of us that CNC, I think there's going to be some good stuff in there.
Here's a decent question, but it's got an easy answer. But it says, You get inspiration from others, and people get inspiration from you. Do people ever accuse you of copying? Yes. If I was to make a leather journal, the trolls would say I copy. How do you address that?
Just say inspired by whoever you're inspired by. That's what I do. If I find something that I'm making is very similar to somebody else's, I say, hey, I got this idea from Colin Furze. And then it just deflates the trolls. They go, oh, you stole it from me. You stole it from me. And then you could just say, yeah, that's right. I did steal it from them. Everything we do is stolen from each other. I don't profess to think anything. Even a lot of my so-called original inventions, we patent search them. We find out they've already been invented. So I just make it as a cool video. That's a cool thing to show. Hey, look, this is fun. You could make one for yourself too. That's really what I'm pushing. Just because something's been invented doesn't mean you can't make your own version of it for your own personal use and learn how to do it in the process. So
Let's see.
This happens to be sitting around. This is a blacksmith knife I made with Alex Pohl and the guys last year. Alex Pohl and Steve House and Joe guided me on that.
And then,
Okay,
let's see.
we'll do like 5 more minutes and I'll be there.
Yeah, I would, there's been the general question about collaborations. I would just say that, you got them in the works, but we can't really talk about them, right?
Tell me which ones are in the works.
Huh?
What collaborations are we working on?
They're just asking if, are you working on any collaborations right now?
Am I? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh, I thought you remembered something I didn't. It comes up all the time. It's like getting down to like nailing it down. I guess the next collaboration is probably going to be with Rob Rojas. We have these 2 new beautiful machines, which I'll do my telephone trick again. Rob's going to help me restore these because Rob likes doing the dirty work that I don't like to do. I don't know how to do this. You can see my phone. I need to flip it around like that. I need to flip the screen. Whew, a lot of math here. Can you see my phone? So
Of course, somebody says we like it when you do collaborations with your brother.
Okay, so there's Patty Boom, and then you can see the bandsaw right there. Beautiful old 1920s bandsaw. And then far beyond that, right there, is the old paper cutter. So those 2 are going to be probably, Rob Rojas will help me with that.
Let's see. I figured 2 more questions. We'll do. One was asking if you ever done a custom motorcycle or chopper build.
Well, we got this. It's not custom, but me and Taylor have been working on this, and it's obviously a lot more in depth than one YouTube video. You guys could see that. Well, you guys can't see that. Let me take a picture of it. You can see that. I just took that picture. That's a Honda CB750 1970 that I got for Taylor to modify. Together we're working on that, but we've been so focused on so many other things, we just haven't gotten back to it.
And then, so somebody, one of the UK guys asked for specific, would you ever collab with Alex Steele or Colin Furze?
I would. I mean, I think both of those guys are so way above me. I don't even know if they would invite me in, but I would. If Colin Furze invited me to do something, I think I would fly to his house tomorrow. Okay. I would drive there.
So it's up to you.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you all had a wonderful time. This is going to live on. Everyone can see it forever. Check out my new webpage, jimmydiresta.com, if you want to pick up razor blades or posters or fun stuff. We have a razor blade nearby?
He doesn't have a specific coffee. He just drinks whatever's available.
We are actually developing a coffee. I tested out some coffee beans, and these guys are going to license my name, and we're going to sell coffee on my website. But it is coffee that I endorse. So that's coming soon.
Okay. That's
all right.
It. A lot of thank yous and goodbyes.
Thank you, guys. Love and respect to everybody. And be safe and treat each other with respect. Everybody. Yes. And